covered. They ain't come from my club, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 problems, and I still kept it 100. Hola. Yeah.
Players. I think you should all just gaze at me for a good 40 or 55 minutes, and then maybe I'll put some charts up. But right now, you should be saying to yourself, wow, why am I not famous? Right? I'm asking myself that same thing every day. But I inevitably, if I keep going, I will overthrow Kramer, and I will be on CNBC. So instead of having 9 people watching me, I'll have 48 people watching me. The demographics of CNBC are actually a lot lower than I thought they would be, considering I'm in the industry. You always think CNBC everybody must be watching. Nobody watches. You know why? Because nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's a bull market. What do you want to hear? You want to hear some negativity about a market that never goes down? Why? So let me show you the chart on the stock, and hopefully this is not the first time you're meeting me. And I'm not going to tell the tales of my 30-year career. I'm not going to tell anything except what we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and when I reiterated that the market can't go down because of what's called a power gap. And if you are following me on StockTwits, which I believe you are, I've been talking about the same thing now since May 12th, and really since April 9th. April 9th, right? Trump candle, the biggest turnaround in the history of the market, 12.5% from low to high. Never seen it before, may never see it again. Basically, we went from a bear market that lasted for 7 hours into the greatest bull market the market has ever seen. The speed of the recovery, and on and on and on. But as a bear, and again, I just handed my resignation in. I used to be the president of the Bear Market Association of America. I was quickly demoted to vice president, then the secretary, then the assistant to the traveling secretary, and I just quit. There is no point to ever shorting the market because it doesn't go down, right? So the corrections and the crashes, where it's a boom and bust kind of market, and now more than ever. And as a victim to, I victimized myself. Okay, I fought the market and I lost because when I was born into this career, I came in the 90s, late 90s. Never thought I'd see what I was seeing then, right? Because the market was doing things that were unprecedented. And I thought it was going to end badly because I'm a moron. The new, right? They were saying this is the new way we're doing, this is with the new market. And usually when people start talking about how this is the new normal, it's a bunch of bullshit because nothing really ever changes. Oh, it changed. And it changed, and it's still evolving, and it's still amazing. And what we've witnessed from 1997 till today, but now there's just more people involved, and there's more money coming in from all angles. And after COVID and all this stuff, it really is impossible for the market to actually stay down. The bear markets are, so short-lived that it's almost pointless to be a shorter. You can day trade, play the fades, and I'll show you a couple of trades from today where you could have shorted something for, more than 7 minutes. But long story short, if you met me a couple of weeks ago, I explained to you the reason I'm good at picking stocks now is that I pick stocks that I know the shorters think they're onto something, right? A lot of pump and dumps out there, but a lot of stocks, and you're looking at just the one right here, SBET, right? This is why I love this stock, and this is why we're still long the stock, and this is why we bought options on the stock, and this is why I think the stock's going right back to $80. And the way the market works now, it could be today. So anyway, going back to I've been doing this my whole life, right? So, 1999, I started shorting stocks. I was getting my ass kicked as usual, and then we crashed. And it took a crash to make some money. But if you're thinking you're going to time a crash, it's impossible, right? Crashes just come. And one thing about it now is that if this market's ever going to go down again, you need the volatility indexes and the products that follow the VIX, UVXY, UVIX, the VIX itself, to stop going down. They're just disintegrating. And what used to fool me was that is what they call complacency, right? Complacency, the bears, morons that they are, still think that that's something. Like people who sell in May and go away. Selling in May and going away, just because it's a phrase doesn't You don't ever want to sell in May. And if you missed May of 2025, you missed the whole year pretty much. Selling in May and going away doesn't work anymore. The dash for trash. You guys know about the dash for trash? So when the market's ripping every day, right? Inevitably, awful stocks that have no business going up start to go up because there's nothing left good to buy. People are thinking, all right, the easy money and the quality names have been made. Now we got to go looking for lesser quality and then lesser quality. And then you go dumpster diving, dash or trash. And then right now, we're beyond dumpster diving. We're beyond the debt. We are in the ninth circle of hell of bull markets. And I thought that might be bearish because we're running stocks now that have actually announced bankruptcy. But wait, there's more. And you guys know it. And by the way, if anybody's in SBET, don't sell it. You're selling some up here, but nobody's selling anymore unless it breaks back under 27.50. Because, target's $80, maybe even today, the way this market goes. But I digress. Let's talk about Wolf for a second. And our stops are 27.50 right there on the we have 3 stops on SBET, right, everybody? Right under the 27.50, which is 27.43, and then the 27.11. That's the only reason we'd be selling, unless it gets to 30 while we're sitting here. I'll sell some at 30. But let's talk about the irresponsible nature of shorting, right? The market never goes down, right? It goes up most of the time, or it corrects and crashes. That's it. But most of the time it's going up. And in theory, it never really does go down because it always comes back. And now the speed of the recovery is to the point where it's almost comical, right? Tariff guy with the cardboard, remember that? April 9th, and then quickly rallied back. And then the May 12th power gap, as I tried to explain it to you. Once the market power gap, that trapped all the shorts on the wrong side of the market and also left all the longs wanting. So I just want to show you this Wolf trade because this company, right, Wolf, WOLF, right? And again, rational thought, company announces that they're going bankrupt and the stock tanked, right? And then it fought its way back and wound up going up 100% just on that turn. By the way, if you guys are looking at the market right now, the Qs are, I'm already in a little short position that's losing money. I'm in the QQQ558 call puts right now, actually. My cost average is 79 cents. They're at 50, so I'm hoping something happens here to the downside, but I'm not counting on it. But the ninth circle of hell, right? Let's keep this conversation going before I forget. This stock in particular proves everything that I talk about as far as the market's concerned. You don't need to know about earnings, CEOs. You don't need to know math. You don't need to know about 10Qs or 10Ks. Financial analysis, fundamental analysis, as it was built over the last 250 years, analyzing companies. What do they make? What is the cost of those goods? And how much profit do they make? And what do they expect to make? That's how the market supposedly used to work, right? Doesn't exist anymore. Now companies say they're going out of business. No, this company, not only did they say they were going out of business, they reiterated, no. We're not kidding. We're filing bankruptcy right now. And the stock still managed to put up 100% gain. Okay, and then it rolled over and died. And then a couple of weeks ago, right here, they said, hey, by the way, if anybody's wondering, we're still probably going out of business. And then the next day, the stock started going up. And I told everybody who was listening, buy as much of this stock as you possibly can, because this reflects the ironic nature of the bull market that we're in, the bull market from hell that never ends. Companies are basically saying, please don't buy our stock, and they're still going up. And this didn't just go up a couple of X. This was a 40-cent stock, and no, we're not buying it here at 40. We bought it on the turn, at a 85 and 92 cents, but look where it went. 350. So that's why we're buying SBET. So here's a pump and dump, right? Anybody know what SBET does? Exactly. Who gives a shit? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Something around cryptocurrency maybe? Who cares? Doesn't matter. The only reason I know about this stock, it was a split adjusted garbage piece of shit 1 for 12 reverse stock split that got caught up, and that's another fad. If you guys know about reverse stock splits, they take the liquidity away from the name, then they pump it. Now there's less stock with a huge demand, and you get stocks to go from $5 to $124. Now, granted, this is classic pump and dump. Reverse stock split it, create the frenzy, rip it from $4 to $124. Really happened. I was there. And then the stock crashed. And then it gapped. And then it does what I love. It's called the Andy Dufresne Kardashian bottom. Right? I love giving things names because it's easy to remember. Now, what the hell is an Andy Dufresne pattern? Right? I'll show it to you. You guys remember the movie Shawshank Redemption? And by the way, SMCI just came out of an Andy Dufresne. Remind me. I tend to talk a lot. Remind me to show you the SMCI. Remind me to show you the Myrna. I want you to show you the CLOV, CLOV. So let's get through this SBET. So when a stock crashes, I don't know why I'm holding this coffee here. Stock crashes, right? Just like the market, right? Like Carvana, whatever it is. There's a reason for the crash, right? Whatever the reason. Usually it's a bullshit reason, just like the yen carry trade and tariff tantrum. So usually bullshit. But then the stock crashes. And then it gets to a point where the shorters have had their way. The longs are all sitting there licking their wounds. And you start going sideways. Sideways is the Andy Dufresne. Right? So the Andy Dufresne. Now, why do I name it the Andy Dufresne? Because it's usually a shitty stock. Right? If you guys know Andy Dufresne, what did he do? He escaped from Shawshank prison by working his body through a sewage pipe of over 1.5 miles. My friend Andy. Maybe that wasn't a good impersonation. Andy. Oh, I can't do it. Can't get my Morgan Freeman impersonation going right now. But you get the idea. So he's working his way through 1.5 miles of grossness to come out the other side and runs. Andy Dufresne pattern. So first you need the crash, and then you need the sideways action. So here is let me show you the 9-month. Well, they're all basically the same chart because it crashed just a little while ago. I'll show you it on 20 days. So you see it like on an hourly basis. You see the orange line? The orange line is what we developed. It is, let's call it multiple time frame VWAP, all rolled into one. Our hero, Brian Shannon, calls it anchored VWAP. I anchor it to specific days. Or you can anchor it to whatever you choose. I choose days, right? So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days worth of data. Then I'll look at 10 days, 15, 20, monthlies, yearlies, and then, I'll even go, 5, 10 years. Usually after 5 years, that it's not as significant as I've learned. But what I do love about what we do here, right, is that we keep finding these amazing ideas and we milk them. We milk them as best as anybody in this business because we understand that these stocks could do a lot. And then we also understand that these pump and dump piece of garbage stocks that came out of the Andy Dufresne inevitably could roll over, die, and go back into the sewage pipe. But while they're running, you make as much money as humanly possible. And this bad boy's got options. And I hope you guys were listening to my show when I gave you remember, $15 calls for $2? That's right. That's where this whole thing got started. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, guy in the back. All right, so anyway, the Andy Dufresne. So what's nice about the pattern is that your risk is right there, right? Your reward is unlimited if you're buying a stock. And the reason that this pattern is amazing, it's the Andy Dufresne meets the Kardashian bottom. Andy Dufresne meets the Kardashian bottom. So what's the Kardashian bottom? Well, she's got a big ass butt, right? And the bigger the butt cheeks, the bigger the break. So you're going sideways and you're Andy Dufresne, and there's usually a moment where the stock tries to come out. There it is. Whoop, and goes right back into the Andy. And that creates butt cheek 1, butt cheek 2, Andy Dufresne, coming out of Andy, breaking the Kardashian bottom. And at that point, like I was just saying, I don't care what this is, what they do, what industry they're in, I'm in. Because it's SBET and a price. I don't care what they do, who the CEO is, and I don't care if they're indicted for fraud or they have a drug that's killing people. Or obviously if they're bankrupt. Because, hey, we just watched a bankrupt company reiterate their bankruptcy 3 different times. The stock wound up going up 10x. So I don't want to hear it. Trading has nothing to do with what you think it has to do with. Those days are over. There's too much money involved. The market revolves around fear, greed, and volume-weighted average price. And, of course, momentum. Momentum is great. Because once the stock starts to go, it continues to go. So now what you do is you got to start trying to figure out, okay, so we're in the stock from $12.50. We got the $15 calls, we banged them out. Next thing you know, we're banging out at 20, right? And now people held the stock over the weekend. Now they're feeling lovely. But now, once you establish yourself, once you establish that you got yourself a great stock, and we know where we think it's going, now you go back to being a day trader. Look at this action today. That's all today, right? So the fake out, shake out, breakout trade, right? You guys still paying attention? You guys still paying attention? You guys still with me? Everybody hear me? All right, because I'm giving you everything right here. So once you get familiar with some stocks that you think are going to go up, that's your inkling, that's your idea. And then you bring it back to being a day trader, and you need that daily confirmation. And that daily confirmation is the fake out, shake out, breakout. The patterns that work on days and weeks and months and years work intraday, and vice versa. If you can conquer the day, you could conquer the week, the month, the year. I focus on the day. I have a knack of finding stocks that are on the verge of breakouts, which makes it a lot easier. But then I wait for the confirmation during the day. So, hey, this stock trades 24/7. So you're seeing some action already, 4 o'clock in the morning, where it gets rejected at prior day VWAP, and it breaks today's VWAP, and it actually becomes a sell, and then consolidation. So here's where I woke up. I woke up, let me check what SBET's doing. That's all I do now, because this is my stock. And last week it was, 3 weeks ago it was ASTS. We got a few names that we concentrate on. We have our earnings reports, and we have the few stocks that we concentrate. This is my baby right now. It's been my baby since I picked it up, from the 1250 area, 15. So the first thing I did was like, oh, look, it's my stock consolidating around VWAP. And it couldn't break 24, couldn't break 24, couldn't break 24, and then it does that. Now, it's not just because it broke the 24, but look what it did right before it broke the 24. Fake out, shake out, breakout. Because remember, let's say you were buying this first break, and it's sitting there consolidating. What are you doing? People will put stops at VWAP, and they'll also put stops at prices where stocks stopped going down once before. So right around the VWAP, right at that candle. And the stop hunting programs, they go looking for those areas, right? So it breaks it and then breaks that recent low just to get the last person out, then it goes. So if you see the Fo Sho underneath VWAP, you're a buyer at VWAP already, and then you get the break. That's the bro part. Fake out, shake out, breakout. Trade's been working since I started trading. And now that I only use VWAP on my charts, and you'll see there's nothing on my charts. The red lines are where I had my trades. There's nothing on my chart. This is the most basic, rudimentary way of trading the market, and it's the best. That's what makes it so simple, and that's what this is the hardest, easiest thing you'll ever do in your life. Because when you see this trade set up and how well it works, you're actually, I'm not going to say more frightened about it. You can't believe that it works this well. And your emotion gets in the way. No way is this going to work again. Oh, God, it did. No way is this going to work again. Oh my God, it did. Oh my God, no way is this going to work again. Oh my God, it did. It's just like if I was an NFL coach, I would fake the punt every time. I would never kick because the other coach is like, he's not going to, oh, he faked it again. Oh, he's not going to fake the punt again. Oh, he faked it again. There's no way this guy's going to fake. Oh, he faked it again. I would just fake it every time. Fake the goddamn punt every time. I would never kick a field goal. That's what this trade is like. You can't believe that it continues to work this well. So you got to suspend that disbelief and just keep doing it. Because look at this. So we're Fo Sho Broing. Bang, bang, got paid. And again, the way we trade, if we're buying at 24, during this rip, selling it, we're selling. And then by the time it gets to 25, we've sold a big chunk of it. So then when it breaks down, we sell the rest. And then look what it does. It goes right back to that price that meant something to us half an hour ago, and it Fo Sho and starts to bro. So we traded it again, made money. And then look, this time it tests the area, didn't break, and then where does it go? Prior day VWAP. And the more you sit here and you navigate this market using just today's VWAP and prior day VWAP and multiple time frame VWAP, you will see this is it. And you'll start to see what also is bewildering, that the market is rigged, pre-programmed to certain prices. More importantly, those prices that are programmed will be retested throughout the day, sometimes once, twice, 3 times. So if you just navigate that trade using that idea, Kenny, man, I really wish I would have got involved in this. Oh my God, it's going down. What do you think? Oh, Kenny, what do you think? Do you think it's a good time to buy it? I don't know. Did it break VWAP, break a recent low, and then come back above VWAP? Yeah, there's your chance. Buy it again. Bang, cash. And then look what it does, just for one more time, just to try to shake some people out. And this time we weren't falling for it. We were still long. But it gives you another chance at VWAP. Fo Sho Bro. And then it gets to that red line. Now, why was that red line drawn there? Because, as I explained about 5 minutes ago, just get familiar with what the stock has done. This was a $4 stock that went to 124, back to 5. So what we were looking at, we were just looking to see it get back to those recent breakdown prices. And that's the prices that we got to today. And now, check this out one more time. Now, it's hard to believe that the stock has now Fo Sho Bro'd 6 times all in one day. And that tells me that the powers that be, let's call them the Illuminati or they that know the stock's going to 80, right? They know it's going to 80, but they also don't want us involved. So what do? They know that we are fickle. They know that we're scared. They know we're frightened. Ooh, the stock was $9 the other day. Now it's at 28. Ooh, it's going to crash. Is it? It's not going back to $9 with you still in it, right? So when the stock starts to roll over, it actually looked like a pretty decent short. But then we realized, wait a second, shorting is illegal. Let's just wait for the Fo Sho. Oh my God. And this one was a little disappointing because it didn't bro. But it was just doing what? It just wanted to fake us out one more time by Fo Shoing, like there was that recent low where it held. You had to go get those guys. Oh, wait a minute. These people think they're going to make money. No. Let's break it down just a little bit so that last idiot sells and then go. So this whole game that we play, we have a trade that works basically every time it shows up. The Fo Sho Bro VWAP break continues to work. Your job as a trader is to wait for it and stalk it. And like I said, when we first met, no one's going to bring you to the best fishing holes or the hunting spots like me. I know where to bring you, and I know which ammo to use. I know which lures to use, and I know what we're doing, right? So that's what makes this the hardest, easiest thing in the world. Once you know what you're doing, right, and you have that knowledge and that preparation, opportunity meets preparation becomes your luck, right? That's what luck is defined as. Preparation meets opportunity, create your own luck. And that's what this trade's all about. And by the way, I'm not getting. I'm feeling like I should add to this QQQ short. It's just a losing trade. I don't usually like to add to the losing trades. I'm sitting here with the 558s. I mean, they're probably going to be a loss. Just market does not even want to pull back. I was looking for a 2-point pullback. All right, but before we go any further, right? So we talked about Wolf. We talked about this SBET, right? We talked about this market, and guys, you guys remember the power gap conversation, right? And we haven't had a sell-off that's lasted for more than 7 minutes since, and that's May 12th, 2 months in, 3 months into the greatest bull market ever. Let me show you a couple of the names that are doing what I'm describing. This company, Solar Edge, right? Stock basically has been attacked by our government. Trump twice now has said, we hate solar, it kills animals, and I don't know, whatever you said. And twice the stock was about to break out and crash because of what government policies were being put forth. And it came back. And then they tried it again. The stock was about to break out. And he's like, oh, by the way, we still hate solar. But this is by the way, this is blatant manipulation by the government. They're saying one thing and doing the other. I'm sure they were shorting solar up there and then buying the dip themselves. But here's the miracle. Just like the Wolf, they announced bankruptcy, the stock goes up 10x. The United States government is trying to end, not the whole government, Trump himself. Trump is trying to end the idea of alternative energy stocks. He hates wind, right? They kill birds and whales. Even though China has the #1 wind farm on the planet, he says China doesn't even believe in it either. Why should we? Everything he says is wrong. But they legitimately tried to crush the industry, and it came back again. So this stock is under accumulation. See that orange line? Look at that Fo Sho Bro back above that. So what we do, right, is I keep trying to find these names and put ourselves in front of these stocks. And then you watch it on a daily basis. And look what you had right there this morning. There's the VWAP. Little, broke the low, but it never broke down. And there's your trigger to buy. And it's a pretty good trade. And if you guys are fans of SMCI, let me show you another one. We're swinging this one right now. No reason to sell. Nobody sell. We're almost there. I'll give you got it. You're almost to the target for today. Almost. 54.13 was the target, and then the next target is 55.37. Don't you sell, but if you want to sell some now, it's hitting our target for the day. Second target's up here. I'll show you why. So again, it's hard to find these trades now because the market never goes down. That's why I love being a bear, because I know when stocks are making those turns where I used to be too bearish and I would be blindsided. Now I know there's nothing better than buying a piece of garbage stock that's being squeezed. There's nothing better. Now SMCI, whether it's a piece of garbage or not, that's up to you to decide. For me, it's a stock that crashed and has consolidated and broke over a very specific VWAP, right? That's the 9-month VWAP, and then it blasted off. This consolidation above the 9-month VWAP led me to believe, and again, all these red lines, those are where I just traded the stock. Let's erase it all, because we got a brand new trade on our hands. So when I say short-term chart meets the long-term chart, where do you think the stock's going? You know where it's going. It's going to 66 bucks. If it was there once before, once you get momentum in that direction. But while you're on your way there, you're going to find some areas where the stock wants to get to, but also there'll be sellers there lurking. And those are prior high candles. So that prior high candle, the one that we just hit, was here. We were looking for the bottom of this candle. That's what we just got to. And now we're in these double top candles, almost this triple top area. So I got no reason to believe we're not about to go testing the 56.23, the 56.25, the 56.19. Take those three prices, divided by 3, and that's your target. And that's what we're doing. That's why I'm a big fan of SMCI. But the reason I'm a big fan is it all started with Fo Sho, consolidation. And now you see a little butt cheek here, butt cheek there. There's the top of the crack. So the top of the crack is also the bottom of where it broke down from. So let me tell you how much I love this stock. And again, I don't want to be psychotically bullish here, but there's nothing not to be psychotically bullish about most of these names I'm talking about. This consolidation just led to a breakout, right? Consolidation break. So the next consolidation is going to be up here, and then we're going to break again because that's how it works. So there's no reason to think you're not about to go back to those recent highs. But why would that be the end of the trade? We just consolidated and broke, consolidated and broke. So now we'll get here. There'll probably be some selling, but chances are this thing's just going to consolidate in the 50s now on its next leg to the 66. Big fan, big fan. Let's talk about some other ones for you guys. And again, these are the names I gave to you a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. If you guys want to go recap, you could maybe get some editing done or whatever, but not just talking shit here because of them all working. I gave you these names and I told you all these stories weeks ago, and I believe I've been doing this thing now for 2 months. So, and again, of course, the QQQ, obviously the biggest Fo Sho Bro in the history of the market, power gap and all that fantastic stuff. Hopefully you still own SRAD. Don't you sell it. Don't you sell this stock, not even one share. Don't you sell it. Don't you freaking sell it. Unless this thing breaks $25, which I hope never ever happens again. Because this stock, talk about consolidation break, consolidation break, consolidation break, consolidation break, its entire life. Here's the, I think the stock's about 7 years old now. I'll put it on I'll show you the whole thing. Yeah, you can't see it all. No, I'm going to give you 2 days worth of data so you can see it better. 2 days. Boop. And let's go back. Let's go 3 days so you can see the whole thing. Does that get it? Does that get us in there? Yeah, now we're in there. There's the IPO. Right, so it was IPO back here. Let me make sure I'm right. And hope you guys bought this one. This has been a nice steady climber. 10 years. Let's go on the weekly. Okay, I'm right. So obviously you see the reason I was liking this stock. It's a Andy Dufresne. Here's the Kardashian bottom. Look at this chart. Look at the chart, right? It looks very similar to that other chart, which will look similar to the next chart that I show you because the chart pattern works. Andy Dufresne, Kardashian bottom, butt cheek, break. What's nice about this name is that you've consolidated. And let me go back now. I'll show it to you on a yearly, on the daily. Coming out of the Andy Dufresne, rips. Andy breaks. There's your Trump candle, monstrous rip. What does it do? Consolidation break. Consolidation break. What's that? Staircase, right? Consolidation break, consolidation break. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I've never seen a stock that has looked like that. Right? That broke all-time highs. IPO highs. This is a fairly new stock. It's only, I think, 6 years old. And it's in the industry that I like. Data processing for sports gambling. They make DraftKings work and FanDuel and all those companies, right? More importantly, every consolidation has led to a new high break, and now you're at all-time highs. It's a blue sky breakout. I've never seen a stock in the last 30 years that has done what this stock has done, that gets into the 30s. It hasn't gone to $50. Target's 50. Now, it ain't going to be $50 anytime soon, but when you see something that's been consolidated and consolidated and consolidated, and every time it's rallied out of the consolidation, that's a stock that's under accumulation. And this is long-term accumulation. This is years of accumulation. This thing gets into the 30s. I will see you at 50. Give it 18 months, 2 years. And again, this is not those parabolic psycho stocks. This is a more conservative. That's why I call this one the investment. And if you bought it when I first met you, it was coming out of this consolidation. Hopefully you guys made some money. Give you all a couple of crazy. Oh, wait a second. Oh my God! Stop what you're doing right now. The QQQ just triggered a sell. Stop it! Stop it! Stop teasing me. Just got a trigger on the Q short. I'm already in, but I'm only down $100 now. You want to see me lose money right here? Yeah, I'm gonna buy more. You ready? As soon as I let go of the button, the market start ripping higher, I'm sure. Yep. I didn't even get a chance to put the order in. Well, now if it turns now. Oh, I just had a little sell program, but it's just like you can't make money shorting the Qs. It's like against the freaking law. But you see why I just got like a little trigger, because it got rejected at the VWAP and then broke down, and then my little scanner said, "Hey, you might want to short the Qs." All right, so actually let's address this right now. Obviously, you see the Fo Sho that in the middle of the day. I got short. I bought some puts here for $1.04, and they were at 124. I didn't sell them. Then they went to 74 cents. I bought more. Oh, let me just show you the chart. So I trade at the money options usually that expire today. So if I'm wrong, it's usually a 50% loss pretty quickly or 100% loss. When I'm right, usually doing 2-3x. Now again, with the Qs, it's been a hard trade because the market never goes down anymore. But let me show you what I'm doing here. So this is me. You see this chart, right? You could chart the option contract itself, which is really cool about Thinkorswim. So just looking at a chart, just forget for a second that this is the Q puts that never pay, ever. Why are you in them then? Because I'm an idiot. Thanks for asking. I don't know. I want to be that guy. I don't know why. I try short on the Qs almost every day, you know? I don't go crazy anymore like I used to, but I'll dip a couple of toes in. I can afford to lose some toes. But look, I was right. Right? Wouldn't you buy this? So here's a testing VWAP. Gets to the multi-day, gets rejected. It's a Fo Sho, and I'm buying. Right? So I'm buying here, 77. I'm buying. Then I bought, this is where the trade went wrong for me. I bought more at 104. Right here at 130, I'm thinking, hey, you're finally going to make some money. No. Rolls over. I should have just stopped out of the whole thing for a small loss. I'm still in them. But now that we've gone kind of sideways, I bought more at 50 cents. And my fate waits for me at 30, because if they break 30, they're going to 0. So I'm kind of just sitting here waiting to see what happens. And I was about to buy some more at 58. I didn't even get done. So I just canceled the order. But I'm in here. And it's a low risk trade. That doesn't mean it's going to work, because the Qs just do not want to go down. I'd rather see you buying SBET as this thing's about to rip. So let me show you where SBET's going to go while we're sitting here losing our money on the Qs. So SBET, look, Fo Sho Bro. Every Fo Sho turns into a bro. How do you not love this stock? But more importantly, look at the long-term chart, right? You're in this realm now. You've made it into these candles. All hell could break loose on the name, because now you're in here, right? So you've made it through the bottoms, and you're in this candle. So now the stock will generally look to go to bottoms of prior candles, where tops and bottoms are of prior candles. That's right here. That's 37.50. Don't sell. Don't sell unless they pull this thing from our dead cold hands. And what's great about it is that we're in options. So if this stock goes to 0 tomorrow, which it could, I don't even know what the hell this thing is, really. I mean, I just looked at this chart and I'm like, oh, what is this? I'm in. Seriously, that's how this whole thing got started. And the word bet is in the name. And I love gambling. That's all I need. You give me some momentum, a chart, and a symbol that makes me smile, I'm in. SBET, I'm in. And then I get confirmation of my bias. And now I go back to just classical technical analysis. Andy Dufresne. We've got the Kardashian bottom. We're over multiple time frame VWAPs. This is the lifetime VWAP of the trade. That's 23.40. Right now, here is the 1 month. That's what got us going. There's that little Kardashian bottom, the 1 month VWAP. There's the return. We're at $29, right? We just got into space. We haven't even hit outer space yet, right? So if we can get in here, look, right? So we're in here. We're in this candle. We're in this candle. Once you get inside these candles, stocks will try to look for the last place where it broke down from. It's the bottom of that candle, which is $37. So that's where we're in. We're in the next 10-point candle, which gets to the 37. But friends, what happens when it breaks 37? Then you're in this candle and it'll go searching for the bottom of that candle. That's 40.5. But wait, what if it gets through 40.5? I know. Then you're inside this candle, but you look for the bottom of that candle. That's $46. But what happens if it breaks 46? Good question. You're looking at $51. So the way we looked at this trade, we're like, wait, we're risking $2 on an option to try to make 30 points? I'm in. And we started this whole conversation, and we started this whole trade by buying a $15 call last week for $2. And yeah, we sold them at 4, 6, and 8, and then we rolled into the next strike price. And now this is all gravy, because we have zero risk, really, that's a nice trade to have on. I have zero risk. Now, what do I mean by that? Of course, there's risk, but this trade has been paid for, and hopefully you guys joined me last week or the week before and the week or whatever. The way I take my option trades are, if I make a couple of $100 on a trade or whatever it is, relatively speaking, doesn't matter. Let's say you made $500 on this trade intraday on some day trade. I'll take $200 from that trade. I'm like, oh, cool. I could buy 2 contracts here. I'll give it a shot. And that's how you keep the ball rolling. I use profits from one trade to pay for some of the other ideas, like Myrna, another loser right now, right? But the loser, is it a loser? Yeah, if you bought it, if your first trade on Myrna was buying the $34 call. But that trade came out of Andy Dufresne, Kardashian bottom, right? You guys were with me when we were trading this thing live, breaking the 29.75 that day, ripping, got paid, took some of that money, and we parlayed it into this week's options, which we still have 3 days. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I might as well buy some more, because now they're kind of like lotto plays. But normally, see, I'm in the 34s, right? And, not good. They're probably going to be a loss, because now I need a really big move. But this trade was paid for by the other wins in that same stock. So now I still like the name. It's still it's a consolidation of a breakout, right? So let me give you the Myrna. This is just consolidating this monster break. We're still in the breakout candle. You don't really want to see it going down another $1, because then it's back in that little, that would be disappointing. Under 30, we might just go right back into this bottoming and just forget about it. But, consolidation for the last couple of days, keep an eye on the Myrna, because if it turns tomorrow, remember, the moronic shorts that think every stock's going to roll over and go to zero, when they don't, they got to cover. The longs get excited, and the money gets divided. Now they're broke. It's no joke. It's hard to sell. And, just a couple ideas right there. So if you didn't know, SBET, which is my new best friend, because I have no risk. I have zero risk. I don't own the stock. Right? At $12.50, I own the stock, because there I could say, all right, I'm risking 2.5 on the stock. Now, this thing is what? How do they usually ruin the names? It's a fraud allegation offering away from going right back to $12. But now, if it goes back to 12, not with me in it, I'm only exposed to $2. So, well, $3 now. Stock goes to zero, I'm out $3. I'm not going to be out, you know, $27 or whatever it is. That's why if you guys are still in the 15s, sell the 15s and roll them into higher strikes, locking in your profit, and then use can't lose. All right. And now for the big one, right? You thought I gave you enough names? I'm going to give you the biggest one that you're ever going to buy. 2 of them, actually. 3 of them. Maybe another one. I'll give you one that you could, if you watch it for a while, it'll make your eyes bleed, but it's CLOV. Don't sleep on the stock. That's all I'm going to say, right? The stock just faux showed. It's coming out of an awful downtrend. This thing looks like it was going to zero. Kind of why I like it, right? Came out. There's the Andy Dufresne. There's the Kardashian bottom. We had some fun with it. It rolled over and died. But it sprung to life last week. If it could just hang in there, Buttercup, Kryptonite, if it could hang in there, just give it a couple of weeks. If it could stay above this 275 and consolidate, I'm thinking you're going to make another run to $5 on this stock. And if it ever does break the 5, you're going to 7. CLOV. But wait, that's just a. Here's another couple. You ready? You ready? Are you? Are you ready? You better be. Look at that stupid looking chart. SPAC, right? Comes out of SPAC, goes up 50%, consolidates, goes up 100%, dumps 80%, rips 200% back. That's a pump and dump, right? But we love pump and dumps, don't we? Especially when they're getting pumped again. Look at the name of this company. I gave this one to you a couple of weeks ago also. USAR. USA Rare Earths. I don't care if they actually do that. The symbol has a USA in it. I'm already involved. I'm already bullish because that's the market we're in. Good symbol. Whew. USAR, come on. The name of the company has USA in it. Bullish, right? And it's in the newest craze. Rare earths. Remember about 8 years ago, rare earths were a big thing, and MCP and all the stocks went from, $2 to $80 and then to zero. Well, now we have our new friend, MP, right? Everyone's loving MP, right? Everyone's buying MP. So now that MP has blasted off, right? MP has blasted off. What happens? Everybody looks for the next one. We got it. We already know the next one. It's USAR. And it won't be stopped. Because it can't be stopped. Because now they're buying it. And it has momentum. And it's been pumped and dumped and pumped and dumped and pumped and dumped. And now it's being pumped again. And you just broke a quadruple top. Now, if this stock closes above, what is that price? That final price right there today? It needs to close above the 1503. What the hell do you think this thing's going to do? It's 5 points away from an all-time high in a market that never goes down. And what's the rule about breakouts? Do stocks go up 12.5% when they break out? No, they double. Right? So this, as much as I love SBET and some of those other stocks that I showed you before, this is where my money's at right now. This one. And let me show you the options. Because it's such, because it's kind of pump and dumpy, the options, they're fairly priced. And these are for Friday. But look, they got weekly options. Option volumes are increasing. People are starting to realize it. They just created the $20 calls this week, right? So, you want to own this thing for a... Look up. These are dirt cheap. I got myself a $14.50. Right? Let me show it to you. So instead of just going out to a week, because, again, monster break, you'll have some consolidation. That's what option trading is hard, because you got to get the trade right and the timing right. That's the hard part. That's why I like to just day trade the options. But when I like an idea that I am afraid, like SBET, and I'm telling you, we could wake up, the stock could be at zero. That's why I'm only trading options on SBET. Same thing with this thing. That chart is a pump and dump. But I want to be in when they pump, especially with a stock with you. And again, you think these are jokes. This is the market we're in right now. They're running these things, running them because of symbols, price, fads. And then you go back and you use your technical analysis and your savviness to stay in the name, milk it as much as you can, understanding that this stock could legitimately be at zero tomorrow. It's one offering, one fraud allegation away from being at zero. But now they're giving us a chance to own these pump and dump piece of shit stocks like SBET, right, for dollars, right? So I don't need to lay out $29,000 to be in a 10 I got 10 contracts. I'm in. Stock goes to zero, I'm out $3,000. Well, now I would sacrifice my profit too, but I don't think we have to have that problem. But this USAR, right? You're 2 more good days from all-time highs in a fad-driven bull market, psychotic from hell bull market. All-time highs on a fad stock that's been heavily shorted. This thing go to 120 that day, and you're getting it for $1. How are you not in the stock? I mean, wait, option. So look at the prices of these. Look at the price of these options. You go out and give yourself a week. You'll probably be there tomorrow, maybe even today, the way this thing's ripping. But I give it 10 days, right? Look. Me right here. 89 cents. I got 10 days to play with the stock that could legitimately be up 5 points tomorrow. So I'm thinking I'm risking 89 cents for a minimum 5x trade. I'm in. Stock goes to zero. What are you out? 89 cents. That's how you trade these crazy names. And now they got weekly options on all these psychotic names. This is the greatest time to be a trader ever. By the way, the Q short. Stop it. If I escape this trade alive, it'd be awesome. Come on, I just need and again, I don't know why I'm even holding on to the hope that this is gonna happen, but I got these. Look how they keep teasing the shorts, right? Look at me. I'm all excited, right? Because if we do break down, we might actually go down a whopping 2 points on the Qs. I know, kids. It's crazy times. I'm not even looking for a sell-off. I'm looking for a pullback. We can't even get a pullback. You guys know the Qs have just rallied from 398 to 560 in less than 60 trading days. Collectively, we've done the math on this. Collectively, over the last 60 days, we've had 7 hours of real selling. No joke. 15 minutes here, 20 minutes here. The other day we had about 2 hours of selling. We had a collective 7 hours of real selling since April 9th. And since May 12th, we've had about 9 minutes of real selling. It's just unbelievable. But I am getting mildly excited. I don't want to, start sobbing in front of us. I'm almost at break even. Ooh! Ooh! Sell! Son! Get your offers out! We just went into the green on this position from a full-blown loss. I don't want to get excited. I didn't sell any yet. Put an offer out, you idiot! That's my kid down there. I got him in the Dayton dungeon. Did anybody actually buy some at 45 and 50 where that last dollar cost average? Hey, listen, if that last dollar cost average was your only trade, I'm a hero. You're in from 50. Sell! Sell right now. I got an offer out at 82. Sold! This is happening. I just sold some puts on the Qs for a profit. Thank God we caught this moment live. I can't. All right. I'm actually breaking into a sweat. What the? Wow. Now let's all say a small prayer together. I understand shorting the market's illegal. Please let me get out of this alive. Oh my God, I just sold some at 99! 105! Son, if you're not short the Qs right now, I'm legitimately going to come down there and bash your head in. I just turned this position. Thank you, StockTwits. Thank you for all rooting for me on this position. And if anybody's in for 50 cents and you're not selling at least 50% right here, where's that? Where's my tool? Oh, right. You guys don't know about the shorting tool, right? Yeah. Just remember, whenever you're shorting the market, I'm waiting to bash you, not just with one, not just two, 3 steel balls with spikes on them. So seriously, did anybody buy these 558s? Anywhere under 74? I mean, hell yeah, I just got out of the ones I was even from 104. I got 2 contracts left. Look at me. All we needed, baby. Woo! Thank you for that. The only loss I had on the books today now is a profit. Now, again, I still got 2 contracts left that they expire worthless. It blows the whole trade. But how about dollar cost averaging a shitty position and getting out of it? Savvy. But you're seeing there was a reason, right? And again, if you're ever going to short a market that just doesn't go down, you better have a freaking reason. And my reasoning was we were in a little downtrend right there. Lower high, lower high, lower high, VWAP break. Lower high, VWAP test. Rolls over, and I got excited. I bought more when it went down. And the same exact chart pattern right here. This time I'm not going to make the same mistake. Now I'm going to raise my stop to 82 on my last 2 contracts to lock myself into the profit. I'm not going to be delusional. I won't be ignored, Dan. Now, like I said, I went from being mildly excited to a little bit excited right there. It's nice to get out of a loss at a profit. That was nice. My son, fuckhead that he is, probably sitting there playing hockey or something. I don't hear anything. I don't hear any bells going off. Where are my trades? Kid's probably taking a nap, missed the whole thing. Well gone. Well done. Waited 3 hours for that trade. All right. Well, that's nice. So now take some of that money and buy yourself some USAR calls. Look, see? As soon as you get excited about being short the Qs, in your face! I just got stopped out. All right, we're out of it. Thank you, market. There you go. See? Anytime you get mildly excited about being short, remember, it's not going to last. Oh, man. But hey, that was, I guess, let's call it lucky? I don't know. 1 o'clock, selling off at 1 o'clock after a little consolidation on the VWAP. It's not luck. Luckily, I got out. See? Putting a stop on takes a trade. Now I could think to do it again. All right. Thank you. No, thank you, Mr. Acavano. All right, so now that we got some money, I don't know if we could spend a little bit more time, but if you don't find the irony in this trade as we're doing this live, that's hilarious to me, right? As soon as you get excited about being short, yeah, okay, good luck. But look where we went back to. The price where we broke down from. So now you delusional psychopathic shorters, right? Now you know if it breaks back above this level, if you are still short, you got to get out. But also take note of what USAR was. And this is a moment, this is how you test the strength of your stock. So we actually got a sell-off that lasted, what was that? About 8 minutes. 8 whole minutes, right? What was USAR doing during that sell-off? Hanging tough. I don't know, is that a song? I don't know. Whatever it was. Not going down. Bucking the trend, as they say. Super bullish. Because when the overall market starts to sell and your stock's going, nah, not me, what happens when the stock market gets a little bit stronger? It gets even stronger. You know what? Another thing, by the way, you see USARW, the stock has warrants, which is always so scammy. It's just so shady and scammy that it has warrants. but it having options kind of takes away the fear. Because like I said, I don't know if this stock is going to be at 0 tomorrow, but I got to be in it in case it goes to 20 and then $80 and I'm risking $1. They're creating options on pump and dumps. This is the greatest market ever. My name is Kenny Glick, and I hope you're enjoying yourself. I will be here, and remember, shorting is short-lived, and they're going to die, not us. Peace!